Yes, he is.
Good evening.
Where's the Senate?
We're going to have our budget introduction meeting tonight.
No, public hearing.
Public hearing, thank you. This public hearing was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Home News Tribune on April 10, 2017. In addition, copies of this notice were posted on a bulletin board in the municipal building and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on the aforementioned date. Notices on the bulletin board have remained continuously posted.
Councilman Stolen?
Here.
Councilwoman Rhodes?
Here.
Councilman Malillo?
Here.
Councilman Rivera?
Here.
Council President Ritchie?
Here.
Mayor Sealy?
Here.
I didn't put on there the salute to the flag, but if you would like to salute the flag, we can.
Of course.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council President, this is the time fixed for the public hearing on the local municipal budget for the year 2017. The budget was approved on March 20th, 2017 by the Borough Council. It was advertised by summary on April 8th, 2017, again, together with the notice, the public hearing for this time. Printed copies of the adopted budget have been made available to public during the past week, posted on the bulletin board, and a supply is here for anyone desiring a copy. It was also sent over to the library for anyone that would like to peruse it.
Okay, before opening this meeting, I wish to outline the procedures. Each person desiring to be heard this evening will give his or her name. All questions must be directed to the chair, and in turn, I will refer them to the appropriate council members or other officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget for 2017, and the public hearing was advertised for April 19, 2017 council meeting before us. School or county matters are not proper subject at this meeting.
Motion to open to the public?
Second? Yeah.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Ritchie?
Yes. At this time, before we take any questions, we have our auditor, Jerry Stankovitz, here, and we also have our CFO, Joe Zanga, here. This way we can address any questions that may come up. Is there anyone from the public that would like to be heard? Come on up.
Jackie Palmer, Shupin Street in Spotswood. Can you tell me what salaries are included in each of the breakouts under general appropriations? It's on sheet 12. For general administration, financial administration, revenue service or revenue administration. Those are the three I had a question on.
General admin is the administrator's secretary, the alliance coordinator, and overtime.
It's not there in sheet.
The alliance coordinator, has that always been in that
Yes.
line item?
Yes. We take it out of the trust also, but for years there was no money in the trust, so we charged it to the administration line.
Okay.
And then who would you say, finance?
Yeah.
Finance is myself, Sherry Phillips, deputy, and Christine.
Osiello?
Yep. And revenue is Lynn, Mary Kate, buyback time, and also part of Sherry Phillips. So Sherry Phillips is split between finance and revenue, but she's also the tax collector.
Okay. So she's the deputy and the tax collector?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
The other question I had was regarding EMS salaries. In 2016, we had it split for whatever reason. It was 184. I'm on page 15A. So we had 184,000 appropriated in the emergency medical services salary and wages, and then we also had it split out on 28A. under, was also under salary and wages for EMS, but I didn't understand why it was split out in those two sections, and then it's not split out. Like, what was there a purpose?
Yeah,
There's a technical legal reason that Joe will tell you.
yes. Thanks.
I'm just curious when I look at it, that's
Appreciate
all.
that. Yes, we are allowed to put part of our salaries outside the cap, which we have done in past years, based on the revenue that's received, but we decided to move it all inside the cap, not sure which way the council's going to go with EMS. So to not have a inside the cap problem in future years, we decided to do that. But it's still the same amount on both sides, but it's just not outside
Right,
the cap, so now
right.
it's just all inside.
Yeah, I didn't understand, I didn't understand it, that's all.
It was really a management decision to do that.
Okay. And then on that same page, it was on 20, I'm sorry, it was 20A, which, the group health insurance, did we move that also? Is that like
No, there's
inside, outside, what, like,
There's a formula amount that we're allowed to move outside the cap each year, based
Okay.
on how much it goes up. So for this year, we were only allowed 4,400. Last year, we were allowed 20,000.
why? I'm just curious.
Based on how much the increase is, you're allowed a certain portion inside the cap, which I believe is 4%. Anything over 4% can go outside the cap. So this year, the increase was only a certain amount, so we can only move 4,400 outside. So we do, there's a levy cap that we file too, that gives us the whole entire calculation.
Gotcha. And the last question I had was in regard to the police vehicles and leasing. Did we purchase additional vehicles this year? I didn't think that
Not
was
this
in
year.
the
We did,
budget.
last year, we had an MCIA lease, and we bought 2 police vehicles and 1 fire truck. Not fire truck, fire chief's
Responder,
vehicle.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So
Right.
this year is the first time the payments are being made. I believe it was around 39,000 and change. So I
Yes.
think that line went up 40,000.
Right.
Right, it went from 40 to 80, I believe. So it relates to last year's MCIA that we entered into. We start paying it back in 2017.
Can we lease them? So do we
Lease them.
give them back after 3 years?
Now they're ours. We buy them for $1 at the end.
At the end of the
But
lease?
they're ours. Actually, no, I apologize. No, they're ours because we're paying it back in full in principal.
So we didn't, we just financed them?
We're leasing them over 5 years, but they're our vehicles once we pay off the lease.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thanks.
Is there anyone else with any questions related to the budget? Okay, observing no further questions from the floor, I make a motion to close this.
Hold up, Frank. Frank's trying to get up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frank.
We got you, Frank.
Don't get old.
Oh, what's the alternative? It's okay to get old.
Yeah, the alternative's not very good.
No.
Frank Adation, 41 King Ave, Spotswood, New Jersey. I think a lot of people have the wrong impression of audits and auditors and budgets. When I go through a budget, and I've done these for the past 50 years, not only in the United States, but foreign countries, we don't look for mistakes or fraud. What we're looking for is that the figures represent fairly the financial position and condition of the organization, all right? So when I go through, and if I don't find any mistakes, I don't feel wrong. I feel that's good. That's good, all right? They're doing what they're supposed to do. My question on some of these is why is some of these numbers up and some are down, some are double, some are half, cut in half? You can't read those in here. Somebody has to explain that to you. Right? And it's not critical, but I've gone through them, and I've found some of those. Let's start with an easy one. Has to do with the reserve. Reserve for, I guess, absences. How do what did we actually write off last year against the reserve? We set up a reserve for so many dollars, all right? What did we actually write off? Did somebody they tell me or no?
Jeff?
Yeah.
8%, 90%.
$29,272.35.
I'm sorry, once more.
Last year, in 2016, we expended against the sick reserve of $29,272.35.
I lost my hearing in this here, so we have to apologize.
That's okay.
I didn't hear that. We had in this year's budget a reserve for uncollected taxes. I think it's $560,000. When you go later on, further in the back, that number doesn't stay the same. I don't know why it's different. It's something under $500,000. I don't understand that. Is there a reason for that?
No, we kept it the same, Frank. It's 560. We kept it the same both
Yeah,
years.
but there's another, if you go further back,
There you have the page.
I don't want to waste a lot of your time. Well, forget that one, because that wasn't a big number. But here's another one. I guess this is under the general expenses. And one of the items I'm looking at, this is says total operations exclude from caps. For 2016, it was 194,000, and we're budgeting 70,000. I don't understand. That's a big difference there. There's 124,000 difference. Why is that?
What sheet? What sheet?
Page
Sheet 25.
25.
You can look at mine. I don't mind.
Thanks.
I trust you.
Frank, the biggest part of it is that our grants
Those are grants,
fluctuate.
exactly.
Like, for example, you're saying 69,000 versus 194,000, so that's a $125,000 difference.
Right.
Part of the difference is that our grants last year were 166. This year, they're 137.
Yeah.
Now, that could change as we go. As we receive grants, we're allowed to put them in after we adopt. So that's part of the reason why that number changed, because the grants...
You're saying you're allowed to put them in, but we're really guesstimating at that, right? Because we really don't
No,
know.
actually, no, those grants all have either cash on hand or a certification that says we're getting it. So, no, it's not a guesstimate. We're not allowed to do that because some towns take advantage of it. So, no, we're okay with that.
You say you get estimates?
No, those are all real numbers. We either have cash on hand or we have a certification from a government source that says you're getting X.
Does the government supply you those numbers?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And they make the determination on those grants, how much you're going to get?
Yeah.
Yes?
Some of them we have to apply for. Some of them, it's an annual allocation.
So we really don't know what it is until after the fact.
Well, no, these are pretty good numbers, otherwise the state wouldn't approve us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't approve you based on estimates.
Yeah.
So we're solid with these numbers. And the other big part of the change, Frank, has to do with a question that Jackie Palmer asked before us, why the change.
See, I couldn't hear her, so
The other part of the change is that we moved expenses inside the cap that last year were outside the cap. That accounts for the biggest part of the drop from outside in 16 to outside in 17.
all right, I'm looking, you can, on page 20.
That is on sheet
28.
20A, Frank. Sheet
Sorry?
20A. sheet 20A.
20A.
20A, sheet
Yeah,
20A.
this is, has to do with salaries and wages under the public safety functions.
Yep, that's it.
2016, we had $138,000, and it's zero for 2017 for this the coming budget. And why is that?
So we just talked with.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it because
Yeah, we moved
I
everything.
lost my hearing in my right ear.
If you look on another sheet inside the cap, I'll show you the other page, that went up $138,000. So we moved it
Okay.
from that page to a different page.
So I just,
So the net effect in the
Put it
whole
in a
budget
different
is
place,
zero.
though.
Exactly, it's in a different place.
you know, what would be helpful as a resident going over these numbers, and I don't know if it's practical to do that or not, but if someone talks about salaries and wages, it'd be very helpful if you could indicate, like in parentheses, the number of people. All right? If you're going from 5 to 10 people, I think I can understand the salaries and wages going up. But when there's no indication, I don't know. Did we fire some people? Are we hiring people? I don't know. You can think about that. For me, for the future, you can just put in parentheses the number of people, plus or minus.
Any year, Frank, we're happy to go over it with you. I know in previous years, Joe and I have sat down with you and gone over everything. We're
And I
happy
will
to
admit
do
in
that
the
again.
past, you people have been very helpful and cooperative as I go through this. But, you know, I don't want to take time with a public meeting because none of this is really serious. It's only money. But I appreciate you taking the time to do it, but I don't want to hold up the audience.
Frank, with your valuable experience in finance, we welcome you asking questions anytime.
Yeah. Last year you had a video. Last year you had a presentation which was extremely good. I think I mentioned it to you because I don't tell you that too often. I said, did you do that yourself? Because it was very
Mayor
well
Seeley
done.
did it this
Well
year.
done, you know, and answered a lot of questions. I think if you could do something like that again, there would be less questions.
He's talking about last year.
We did that, Frank, but it was a couple meetings ago.
You did that?
We did that. It's
That was
actually on
your-
the, it's
your
on the,
group.
on the web. You can watch it on the web
Oh,
and on our website. There was a whole slide presentation, all the slides.
yeah, that's the one last year, yeah.
Yes, we did that.
That's this year's.
Yeah, that was good. That was very helpful. I didn't do it this year.
Yes, we did,
We did.
but you weren't here,
One of the
Frank.
nights you weren't here.
We can send you the presentation. We'll mail it to you.
It was March 20th. And actually, I can give you my copy if you like.
Thank you, Dora. I'm not going to do that now. All right.
You're welcome.
I'll take it home.
Anytime.
Thank you. And when we had candidates running for office, somewhere along I said, we're going to try and concentrate on reducing expenses or something to that effect. I don't know exactly what it was. Do we have a specific program for that? Or we just kind of willy-nilly look at it now and then? I mean, you got to pick your places. Where can we cut expenses? Now, I'm not saying we're overdoing the expenses, but if you're going to cut taxes, expenses have to be cut somewhere, right? So, do you have a plan for that? This doesn't happen by itself. I think you have to look at where the big dollar items are and say, well, how can we reduce this? And it doesn't, and a lot of times people get afraid they're going to cut heads. That's not always the answer, you know. You need people to run the government, all right? All right. But there are things along that we spend money on that really are academic. We don't need it. We don't need it. So, so I hope maybe between now and some future time, you guys can, and the ladies and gentlemen can come up with a plan. Let's pick some spots, pick some areas where the big bucks are, and we'll see what you can do to cut some expenses.
Frank, I think every decision that this council makes, it's always a factor of looking at costs.
Okay, good.
We're entering into contract negotiations, that's always there, always present.
Yeah.
And I think everybody up here would agree, correct? Every decision that we make is based on costs as well as other considerations.
I'm sure you do, okay? But it's not where you start, it's where you end up. At the end, people have to see, they did something. They cut there or cut there. Not for willy-nilly, no, for valid reasons that we really don't need that money spent for that particular purpose. So here's a suggestion, if you can spend a little time doing that, I think the residents would appreciate that. And it's not easy to do. We have to make sure we're getting results from the dollars that we spent. That's the only thing we do. Make sure we get our money's worth, and we'll be all right. Yeah, I'm not leaving town.
Thank goodness.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Frank.
Frank?
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? No further questions from the floor. I make a motion, we close this hearing.
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo? Yes. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Ritchie.
Yes. At this time, the budget for 2017 will be adopted.
I'll read the resolution. This is Resolution 2017-70. Be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated in the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorizations of the amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes in the amount of $6,800,398, and also to be raised by taxes for the minimum library tax is $258,928. That is our budget for 2017. I need a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt the budget?
Second.
Councilman Stolen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Council President Ritchie.
Yes. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.